Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. Today we're over on the YouTube account and we hit another milestone. So looking at our heroes, that is right, we have hit level 900. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, we really hit a milestone at 6, 7, 8, and now we're at 900 levels in AFK Arena, which puts us at 1.31 trillion combat power. As you can see right here, our combat rating. Kind of crazy to think with the amount of heroes in AFK Arena that we've been kind of joined with, and also looking at what is going to be coming. Because when it comes to a lot of different builds and a lot of things that I feel they need to change, on the AFK rewards, this is something where getting some of these epic nature emblems, even looking at getting some of these cores, we need to get some more things. We also have Dragonspeak emblems, but I feel like this is a place where we need to put in arcane staffs. And I've talked about this before when it comes to the collections, giving us the ability to build those higher level collections, which are honestly a game changer when it comes to the heroes and when it comes to the power level. We need something within this AFK timer. Now, of course, I do the fast rewards. We talked about this before. I do this 5 times every single day. This adds so much crazy hero essence out of here, just doing this a multitude of times. And of course, that's because of my VIP level. When you get VIP, I believe it is 10. We do this 2 times. When you get a little bit higher, now 10, of course, is the only VIP level that you can get as a free-to-play player. You can't go to 11, you can't go to 12, you can't go so on and so forth. You can only stay up on that certain level. And honestly, the value of this for the return of diamonds, when you start looking at some of these low levels, again, getting some essence, getting some cords, getting some shards, some baits, pretty much everything you need to build heroes within AFK Arena, you are getting right here. And we're getting it in a massive, even here, I mean, 187, 287, 287 every time, 5 times a day, not including the AFK rewards. It adds up, and it adds up really quick when we're leveling up these heroes. Now, of course, looking at the bag, this is a place where we are starting to get some more of these Draconian insignias. These actually came from, I believe, the Nightmare Corridor this time. But again, going through here and really cleaning this out. And I've really realized through the years that spending a lot more of the resources versus sitting on the resources is kind of the trade-off, where you have to be using the resources and you have to be using them in the correct manner. We talked about this again when we were over on the live stream about free-to-play players really can do incredibly well within this game if you're a go ahead and you are, using the resources where they need to be used, utilizing the tier list on the heroes that need to be built. You have to make sure that you have a plan with AFK Arena. And again, I've done this since we've started, is coming up with a plan, coming up with kind of a general guide on how I'm building out heroes, who I'm building out. That way I'm not leaving some of the priority heroes behind, or I'm not building heroes that are honestly going to have no use or really a single use. When it comes to one of the things that I dislike a lot is when you look at a hero like Vika. For instance, we just had Vika within the Nightmare Corridor, which of course was one of the best in slot teams that we've seen in the Nightmare Corridor. And if you didn't have Vika, unfortunately, you couldn't run the formation. And a lot of players were saying, do I need to go ahead and build up Vika? With it being just one single formation that she was actually being used, I wouldn't recommend it. Again, just kind of building it out for one niche formation, which we have her right here. But again, building her out for one single niche formation doesn't really make a big sense as a free-to-play player. Of course, Mauler Tower are going to make a big difference, but overall, we're going to have to see where her utility lands, as well as some other heroes. And talking about utility, the Awakened version of Entendre. So as of right now, surprising enough, we're not seeing her within the Treasure Scramble, but we are seeing her within the Cursed Realm and the Nightmare Corridor. So she does have a little bit of utility. Mauler Tower, of course, going to absolutely just decimate the Mauler Tower. But the thing that a lot of players are finding is very similar to the Awakened version of Lucius, is she doesn't have a lot of survivability. She dies pretty quick. But if you get the ultimate ability up, if you start getting some of the skills that she has, and you do have her built out quite like I do here, I mean, building her out pretty high, she does start gaining a lot of the survivability, and she also does a considerable amount of damage. But overall, again, I would kind of wait. I know it's been 7 days at this point to see the next iteration of the Cursed Realm and Nightmare Corridor where she falls in. That way we know if we can go ahead and build her. Now, of course, we're already up to 14,000 diamonds. That is because of the game modes that we're starting to get a lot more rewards in. Out of the store, like I said earlier, I'm starting to build out and buy these arcane staffs. Trying to build out some of these collections. Then, of course, building out or buying out that time emblem. This is super, super important. If you want the chance to ever build any of our Awakened Heroes, this is what you have to buy, and you have to really do it on a regular basis. You do not want to miss this. Then looking in here, you have your essence, you have your shards, and you also do have down here with your pro coins. Now, if you're earlier to AFK Arena, this is going to be a major priority, the amplifying and the primordial emblems. Once you get to a point where you'll have 4,466 of them, not a big reason to buy them out, which honestly, there's no reason with 12 billion gold that we really buy or build anything at this point as far as gold. That's another thing that they could definitely adjust, is they could put some maybe higher packages, or even instead of 500 essence, doing like 1,000 essence, or doing something that is going to cost a considerable amount of gold so you can actually start using that resource. Now, of course, in the Dream Store, we are buying out the insignias, we are buying out our scrolls, our Stargazer cards, and then, of course, our time emblems, which means that we are not getting any of these top heroes. Even when you look at these guys, they use some older heroes to do this, because essentially, looking at Leofric, looking at Zafriel, neither of them are being used really anywhere. Frampton at this point, I don't think is used anywhere at all. The twins, very niche, maybe if they are used at all. So when it comes to the heroes, again, the hero generation or the hero purchase in here doesn't really seem worth it versus getting the ability to get some of the newer heroes. And then, of course, within the guild store, we're looking for two things in here. One being right here, guys. It is the magic staff. It is the dimensional gear that we have, of course, for Shuna. And we also do have for Rimuru. Now, overall, I did build the gear right here, tier 4 for Rimuru. But I want to look at Shuna and see what we do have here. So we already have the staff. And I believe Rimuru had the staff as well. So looking here, let me check out Rimuru. I think we just needed boots on there. And then Shuna needed the chest, the boots, and the helm. So what did we have in here? Now, of course, you want to build out and you want to buy out of the guild store your cards. You always want to get those time emblems. You also do want to build up Eugene. Now, of course, when Eugene hits 5 stars, this is going to disappear. So you're not going to have the ability to actually farm Eugene in any capacity. But since we have this, I'm going to go ahead and pick up our dimensional mage gear right here. That way we can throw it on Shuna. And of course, when it comes to utility, when it comes to a hero doing very, very well, Shuna is already wearing the best gear. Not quite wearing the best gear considering she isn't wearing gear there. But when it comes to utility wise and when it comes to a support hero, Shuna is doing amazing in literally every single aspect in AFK Arena. So we go back to the dimensionals. If you had the option, if you could only get one, I would absolutely pick up this hero for the simple fact that we are seeing this hero being utilized in a ton of different places. And unfortunately, Rimuru is kind of coming in as more of a support hero than it is as a primary damage dealing hero. And of course, we're still building up the rest of their furniture and everything else that they possess. But it does make a big difference when it comes to building them out and having all of the stuff that is really needed for these heroes to be carried, which means signature item, means engraving, it means furniture, to really have the effectiveness of these heroes. And also looking at the Awakened Heroes and thinking about the Awakened Heroes, it is the exact same thing. A lot of players are building out Shamira, a lot of players are building out the Awakened version of Athalia. Make sure that you are prioritizing these heroes and make sure that you are building out these heroes in their entirety, because that is the only way that those heroes specifically do shine. If you have a half-built Awakened hero, chances are they're going to have very minimal to no use because you're missing a majority of their skills. Now in here, we are looking for the Awakened version of Belinda. We have 23 cards. We have 13,000 diamonds right there. That means we get 4 summons out of here. Or excuse me, the Awakened version of Shamira. I read Belinda right up there. So 4 summons in here. Let's see if we can pull another copy. Look at the collections. Every single time that we're pulling those collections in here, which is awesome. We got a card right there. Burn through a couple of these diamonds. 2 more cards right there. Come on, there is 1 more copy. Can we get 1 more out of here back to back? Nope, just some more collections, which again, I'm okay with. I am okay with absolutely with those collections. Then, of course, the Temple of Time, 583 right here. Not sure if I'm still going to use any of these at this point. But, of course, looking at the Elder Tree, guys, we have 2 more levels and the Elder Tree will be maxed out. So very, very cool to see. Now, the Oaken, I do want to do a few summons in here as well, because we still have the regular heroes. We have Rimuru, we have Shuna, we have a couple heroes in here that we want to build. And I'm hoping also that we can pull a copy of Gwen. We are still looking to maximize the damage that Gwen is doing. There is a copy for Braun. I think Braun is pretty close to the 9 of 9 at this point. And then, of course, we are just rotating back in. There we go. There's another piece. I'm just rotating back in the other heroes that we have, and that takes him to a 9 of 9. I think that was exactly the 9 of 9. But like I said, we're just dropping these ones out, dropping back in some more of the Awakened heroes, and just continuing to build them, maximizing the damage that they're doing within the multitude of game modes that they're being run. And of course, utility-wise, makes a big difference. It makes a really, really big difference on these heroes and how will they perform. There's Villanelle right there. So that gives us, what, 4 cards on the table, almost 5 cards. And we have 1 in the bag. So we already do have 5 cards, almost 6 cards. And we get another summon out of this recycle, which I think we do. Is it going to be mythic? It is a mythic, and it is the Awakened version of Belinda. But there we go. So 5, we have 1 in the bag. So we have 6 in total to go ahead and build this out. Now, as you can see, the max furniture on here is beginning to absolutely just, we're starting to max everyone out. We're starting to max a lot more of these heroes. We're starting to get high level furniture. Even here's a 20, here's an 18, a 25, 24. We are starting to max them out in the entirety. And again, as we get new heroes, we'll swap them out. We'll max them out in their entirety. We have 3 here. And then, of course, looking at our Draconic heroes, they are 2 that we have a lot of furniture for. I'm just going to have to get to a point where we can actually max them out. So here, Dragonforge, again, we are stuck at 9. It's kind of very hard stuck. Don't have anything else we can buy in here right now until we can get some more insignias. But I did pick up a couple of the insignias out of the Nightmare Corridor. Gives us 6 more chances to pull this copy of Gwen. Now, every time that we have done this, and we've done it for a multitude of times, and there it is. Finally, we got the copy of Gwen. We had been waiting for that for a considerable amount of time. And of course, that takes her to Mythic Plus, I believe, with that copy. We need 1 more for Ascended with Hildwyn. Again, we are getting very, very close with these heroes and building them out much higher, which of course is just going to increase the damage that they're doing within the game modes. And we want to get the furniture on there. We want to get the engraving. And maybe now with this hero built up a little bit higher to Mythic Plus, we might be able to get through that, the Dragonforge. We might be able to get another piece of the Dragonforge done. Then, of course, we have another star on Chimera. Going to bring a lot more HP in there, which is what her base is on, but it also does give us the secondary stat. When you have the engraving built up to the 60 or past the 60, it does give us the secondary stat right there of some additional magical resistance, which means survivability with the Awakened version of Chimera does go up. So very, very cool. Now, of course, guys, dailies roll into weeklies. Weeklies roll into pretty much everything. Even looking here, we're getting 10. We're getting, what, 15 insignias and 5 red chests. That is 20 every single week that we are getting to build up these heroes. So very cool. Now, of course, the Fight of Fates is up as well. Make sure you're breaking that out and getting those Stargazer scrolls. You want to make sure, again, that you're getting everything you can. Another hero should be released tomorrow. I think it's going to be patch notes tomorrow. So it could contain another hero that Dali has been talking about. But all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.